Welcome to Queers Quills, the official podcast. I'm audiobook narrator Kirt Graves. Every episode, I invite an attending author or narrator to join me for a one-on-one conversation about their lives and their art, so attendees and readers from across the world can get to know them not only as professionals, but as people. Joining me today is Maz Maddox. Hello. Hello. Maz Maddox is the author of multiple gay romance series and has a passion for amazing stories. Her books contain laughter, love, heaps of adventure, and lovable characters. When she's not heads down crafting her next wild adventure, she joins her co-host, me, to chat about their mutual love for queer fiction on the Hoof and Fang podcast, which of course is coordinating this podcast. You will hear a commercial for us in the middle of this conversation by us at some point.
So meta.
It's all so meta, this particular interaction. But welcome to this podcast.
Thank you.
Are you excited for Queers and Quills?
I'm so excited. It's been a hot minute since I've been to like a queer specific book con, so I'm like, I cannot wait to be around our peoples, you know?
Yes, exactly. And have you been to Portland? I can't remember.
I've never been to Portland.
Fun.
So this will be fun. Yeah.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've asked the question many times, but now it's your turn. Tell the listeners who might not be as familiar with you as I am, what is your author origin story?
So I think unlike most authors we talk to, I did not start writing when I was young. I am very dyslexic, so I actually did not enjoy reading or really writing until much later in life. Like, I think I really started getting into reading a little bit in high school with the Anne Rice vampire series. But it really wasn't until like my 20s that I really started devouring a lot of books, thanks to our mutual friend Jess/Jeff. She got me hooked on the Song of Ice and Fire series, and that just like reignited a love for books I hadn't really tapped into for a long time. But I didn't really start writing until later after that. I mean, I probably dabbled in like a little things, but not really very seriously until like 2016 or something. So like way past, I think, when a lot of people kind of started their own author journey. But yeah, it wasn't until I was like working at 911 and reading a lot of gay romance that I was like, okay, yeah, I think I really want to dive in and start like doing my own thing. And that's where I kind of took off from there.
Yeah. How did the dyslexia affect you later in life? Like, or were you just
it still
like,
does.
I'm just going to work through this now? Like, did your coping mechanisms just improve? And so now you could start enjoying reading again? Yeah.
So it was the coping mechanisms. It really... Oh, man, I can't sing enough praises for the dyslexia font that came out. I know this is like way later, but like that's how my Kindle's set. That's how I write now. It really, really works. It's really, really helpful. But yeah, I think I got comfortable with just reading really slow because I think the dyslexia made me read so slow that it was kind of embarrassing. I could never keep up with like how fast other people could read. And it wasn't until later that I was like, who cares? I'll just take forever to read a book. So like Jess would be like, knocking these books out, and I'm still like, halfway through. So yeah, I think
Song of Ice and Fire, it must have taken you like 4 years a book.
You
really
must
still be on like book
time. 2. Yeah, no, it felt like it was like a slog, but I think once I got used to just reading slow, I'll fill in the gaps a lot faster now. So I realize that I'll skip through pages really quick when I get really comfortable with reading, and then I'll like misread really bad, so I have to go back in and like reread. But yeah, it's kind of that thing where I think I just got used to just slowing down and letting my brain catch up with everything, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So what finally made you say, I've been doing a lot more reading, now it's time to start writing? Where did that journey begin?
Man, I don't know. I don't know if I could pinpoint it exactly, but I mean, I
want a date and a time.
A date and a time at exactly
a date and a time.
2:00 on March 13th. No.
Or no podcast for you.
No, it was I think what it was is that me and Jess were both reading, I think a Charlie Cochet book, and I was like really into the humor and like the shifter of it all. And I had, we'd knocked out all of TJ's stuff. So we were just like really in the thick of like MM romance stuff. And I think it started with us cracking jokes about if we were going to do a shifter Wild West thing. And we were talking about like if cowboys were going to shift, it would be naturally have to be a horse. And then we came up with centaurs. And then as that joke kind of manifest, I actually got an idea, and that's where Heartaches and Hoofbeats came from. So it started as like just a goofy joke. And then I was like, actually, I think I could turn this into a real story. So we kind of like, I started writing it just for funsies, almost like a fanfic kind of thing, like not taking it seriously at all. But then when we were both kind of reading it, I was like, I think we could actually make this into a real story. So I was going to say crafted it, but really I just pantsed my way through it, and it was hot garbage, so we had to go back and fix it quite a bit. But yeah, I think it just was one of those like, why not situations. I got a fun idea, and we just were like, let's just do it and see what happens. And then here we are.
Yeah. What was that conversation like with Jess?
It was a text message.
I think we're actually going to write a book.
Yeah, it was like, it would start off as a joke, and we were just being the most silly with it. And then, yeah, I think as we were kind of brainstorming ideas, I wish I still had the text because I can almost visualize what it must have been like, where she was like, it's like, oh my God, if it's a shifter universe, like maybe we could roll in like the horse herd of it all and make centaurs like really found family adjacent. And she's like, oh my God, he could be a sheriff, and then like each of his deputies are different shifters. And I was like, is this a real idea? Like,
yeah,
it just
and
kind
now
of
we
like,
have an anthology on our hands.
Exactly, yeah. And I was like, now we have like books 2 and 3 lined up. So yeah, I think it just, that typically is what happens with our ideas. Like they snowball so fast. Like we'll just start bouncing ideas off of each other, and then it just starts rolling, and then it becomes a rough outline, and we can just kind of go with it.
Yeah, yeah. So you have Heartache and Hoofbeats. That's the first book in the Stallion Ridge series, which is about shifters of all sorts, but it starts with a centaur shifter.
Yeah.
And then what comes after that?
So within the Stallion Ridge series?
No.
Or like just okay.
I'm done with Stallion Ridge. Moving on.
So yeah, after the Wild West stuff, I did the Relic series, which is my dinosaur shifter boys. And that one's not set in the Wild West or historical. That's more contemporary. So it's set in modern day, like this universe, this world. And it's strangely, yes.
Yeah. That's what everybody thinks of when they hear dinosaur shifters.
Yeah.
Must be contemporary.
Not prehistoric.
Modern day.
It's set modern day. These are men of the time.
Yeah.
But it's a secret society of dinosaur shifters that take black market fossils and repatriatize them. I don't know. Give them back to their country of origin. So they take them away from rich assholes who just want to put their T-Rex skeletons in their foyer, take them back to their natural museum of, their country of origin.
Yep.
So,
and that's real. That
is real. Yeah, I'm very, very passionate about that. That's something I used to do the social media for the Society of Mongolian Paleontology. So they are actually the ones who took Nicolas Cage's dinosaur skeleton away from him after he bought it off the black market, and he had to give it back to Mongolia. So I worked with that organization and learned all about it, and it kind of, that was the whole root of Relic. That's how it was born.
Yeah. Surprisingly grounded roots for a series about
for
dinosaur
a super silly thing. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like, I remember that series, like the day it came out, like I think it took you by surprise how well that book did.
Yeah, it did. I was very shocked because I wrote that book very much for myself. Like it was a very niche, what I thought a very niche topic that nobody would really care that much about, or think it was just kind of like whatever. And it was dinosaur shifters, and I think I was assuming most people were going to think it was like a joke, Chuck Tingle type of thing, and they weren't going to take it very seriously. And I was like, no, it's silly for sure, but it's not outlandishly ridiculous. Like it was a real grounded story, and I really liked it. And a lot of people, I didn't realize that the Venn diagram of MM romance readers and dinosaur people were basically a circle. Like people who like shifter romances. Yeah, if I could get like my dinosaur shifters onto a hockey team, I would be a millionaire. That's a $1 million idea. So yeah, it was surprising and delightful that so many people are not only huge into dinosaurs but also nerds about it. Other paleontologist geeks. Like I met some people at GRL who had a dinosaur tattoos. One one chick has a cool big Archaeopteryx tattoo like on her arm that's beautiful, and I'm like, oh my god, you're my people. Like, it's just it's so cool.
Well, I think it's also, even for those folks who aren't like maybe as into it as adults, like it's nostalgic because like so many kids are into dinosaurs because they're such fantastical creatures,
right?
That really existed, unless you listen to the alt-right.
Yes, unless it's Satan who buries the bones to trick us,
right?
Which is also kind of rad.
Or maybe they were just giants. Yeah, because those were real. Those were in the Bible. Yeah, just 600-year-old giant bones.
Yeah, sure.
This is a safe place to make fun of those people, I hope.
Yes,
anyways.
I was about to say, hopefully nobody takes offense, but we will be kind of assholes about that.
I highly doubt they're coming to this conference.
I don't think so.
I really highly doubt they are.
Yeah.
And then you have your Wild Contract series, which is another just huge departure from the other two.
Yeah. I really sprinted out of the Shifter universe for that and went for vampires and incubi and urban fantasy magic and necromancy and just kind of more dark, which was really fun because I think I needed a break from all of the... I mean, it's still silly. I can't say that it's like really very much a dark romance or serious in any capacity, but
the stakes are serious.
Yeah, the stakes are serious, and there's a lot more like, I mean, death and gloom and skeletons and stuff. So it was fun to kind of get out of Shifters and do something a little bit different for a little while, and I had a blast writing that series.
Yeah, I would say to me it's Dresden Files, but make it gay.
Yeah. So. I very much that's the kind of vibe I was going for.
Yeah. So why write queer characters?
So that's like the $10 million question, right? So when I was getting into MM romance and really resonating with it, it was about the same time I was kind of figuring some stuff out for myself too, which I think is a path a lot of MM romance readers take. But yeah, I was in my late 20s, early 30s, and happily married, and just kind of had not really let myself understand that little bit of myself for a while. So as I was reading these queer characters and getting more exposure to it, I kind of realized myself that I wasn't 100% straight. So I was able to, through the magic of reading and seeing that representation, understand that I was pansexual. So now it's one of those spaces that not only do I love reading, but I also love crafting in, because I like to be in those spaces and write and read about those kind of characters. So it's been a wonderful journey for me to really understand that fully, and then also meet, my group of people that I get to spend my time with and create with. So it's been awesome.
Well, and the other through line to your work really is the humor. Like, why, like, maybe the better question is, like, what influenced that? Especially if you were starting off reading, like, Anne Rice and...
Right.
And Game of Ice, or Throne of Ice
Song of Ice and Fire, which is not funny.
And, like, these epic fantasies that are, like, sometimes extremely dark. But, like, all your work has humor in it.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't really know, because, those series that mean the most to me are not funny at all. They are the most serious, ridiculous thing, or not ridiculous, but serious, very straight-laced kind of thing with, like, death and sadness and heavy topics and things like that. So maybe I write the funny stuff because I feel like I kind of need a break from the seriousness, especially nowadays. Like, I like making people laugh. And, when I would read TJ Klune, who I think he masters that balance really well, where it's such a heavy book and you're crying, but then he just lobs a good punchline. You're cracking up, right? So I think heavy topics and those really grounded, gut-wrenching stories are wonderful, but I can't, nothing beats just laughing. Like, I love making people smile and reading things that really crack me up. So I don't know if I could ever really go fully serious with my stuff. I think I would have to crack a joke. It might be more of an internal thing, like maybe I just don't like sitting with serious feelings too long. So it could just be one of those, like, I have to break up the seriousness in some capacity. So, but yeah, it is weird that I started off with, like, super gothic like romance stuff where everyone dies and cries all the time, and now I'm writing about silly ass dinosaur shifters and chaotic necromancers. So weird. I wonder how many people, like, I'm sure there's lots of people who prefer to read like really serious stuff and then they write the most ridiculous things, but who knows?
Yeah. So if somebody were coming to your work for the very first time and you could point them in one direction, which would it be?
I would probably say, if you like dinosaurs and stuff, like if that's your jam, definitely start with Smash and Grab, because I think I'm still very, very proud of it. It's short, it's sweet, it's funny. It's something that comes from my heart, so I love. If you want something maybe a little bit more, I don't know, not shifter focused, but maybe something a little bit more, if you like demons, Ethan and Jag, Destroy the World is also something I really like, and that's a standalone. So that's a good little bite-size idea of kind of where my humor is and how spicy I could get when I want to be. But that one's really fun and easy to digest, and the audiobook's great. All of my audiobooks are great, but I really like that one.
All right, are you ready to play a game?
Yes, always.
Okay. So the rules of our game are simple. I have a deck of cards, and on each card is a question. These questions aim to learn more about you. Some are biographical, some are hypothetical, some are just plain silly. Okay. But I'm not picking which questions you will answer. Fate is. I will deal 3 cards every round, and you choose one. Whatever card you pick, you agree to answer.
Okay.
Except if a question comes along that you don't want to answer, you have 2 opportunities to switch things up. So you can turn the tables on me one time, forcing me to answer the question. And you can also discard a personal question in favor of answering a bookish question from the white deck.
Nice. Okay, fantastic.
So, are you ready for the first round?
Yeah.
Here we go. I'm gonna shuffle these just a little bit more. I want to make sure we're getting some newbies. All right, here we go. 1, 2, and 3.
3.
What would be the worst ingredients to fill a burrito with?
You know what? Let's make that a book question.
Okay. We did not like that. Moving on.
I was like, I don't know what I mean. Rocks.
Okay. Here's your bookish question. Oh, this one should be okay. Have you ever read a book more than once, and which one?
Oh God, yeah. I think I've read Cut and Run 5 times, and like it. I think I just like it. Well, it's a great book. I don't want to be like it's not great, because it is. But it's one of the first MM romances that really grabbed me, and I loved it so much. And it's a contemporary romance, which are usually not my favorite, about FBI agents who fall in love. Whatever, right? But it's great. Like, I love the characters. One of them's name is Zane. That's why I named Zane that. Like, it's an homage. So yeah, I've read that book. I've listened to the audio several times. I really love that book.
And who wrote Cut and Run?
Abigail Rue.
Okay.
Which I don't think she writes anymore, which is heartbreaking.
Wow, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
To end on a bummering note.
Well, she's still around. I think she's just not active that much anymore. Yeah, no, she is. She's definitely still around. Okay. But yeah.
All right. Card 1, card 2, or card 3. What's the worst pickup line you've ever heard or dished out?
Oh, man. That's a great one. I think the worst one I've ever heard, it was not towards me, it was just at a bar, was nice shoes wanna fuck. And it was, I thought, very funny.
Did it work?
No, she was mad and left immediately. But I was like, I mean way to shoot your shot.
Yeah, what guy notices your shoes? I shouldn't assume it was a guy, but
it was. It was a guy.
Based on that.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. He was 100% serious too, so I was just like, good job, sir.
You know what? He wasn't wasting anybody's time.
Exactly.
That's a virtue in and of itself. All right. Card 1, card 2, or card 3?
Let's do 2.
How much would someone have to pay you to eat a live spider?
God. I don't think I have it. So I am terrified of spiders.
I was going to say.
So I think it would have to be enough to cover my extensive therapy bills.
Okay.
And probably my hospital bills because I would black out in terror and probably do a dead drop backwards. So I don't know. We'll say $1 billion.
Okay.
And we'll do that.
Listen, there's plenty of people out there with $1 billion that they're just giving away at this point. So
hey, man, give me a call.
never know.
Talk about it.
Yeah. All right. Card 1, card 2, or card 3?
We'll go with 3.
Would you rather be the most popular kid in school or the smartest kid in school?
Smartest. I don't care if I'm popular. I want to leave school and do something with my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a good answer.
Yeah. Because you're not going to... I mean, I know like a person from high school. So you're not going to talk to these people afterwards. Who cares?
Yeah, it's strange. You do... I know some people who obviously keep in touch. I mean, I know people who married their high school sweethearts.
Nice.
But yeah, for the most part, like most of the people I know from high school, like we're still acquainted. We still keep up on social media. But there's really only one who I see on a regular basis. And it was somebody who I became close with after high school, like when we were adults living in the same town. But she was a friend in high school as well. So
nice.
But that's really
I don't know anybody from... I know Shen, and that's it. I don't...
Yeah.
They're all gone. I have no idea.
All right. Card 1, card 2, or card 3?
Let's go with 2 again.
2. What's the funniest name you can think of for a pet?
Let's flip it around for you. What do you think?
I like human names for pets.
Yeah,
and it's going to matter, like the personality of the pet is going to matter.
Yeah.
But I think like a Dwight.
That is a good one.
For a dog.
Yeah.
Like a pug.
Yeah. Like a
that
little
would make me
guy.
giggle every time.
Yeah, that would be great.
I also my husband follows an account, and I'm not going to remember what the dog's name is, but it's a British family with a dog, and they yell at the dog, and it's like Harry, and just the way they yell the name because it's so posh, and yet they're yelling at their dog who's just like a disaster of a living thing. That's
pretty
funny.
great.
But it would definitely be a human name for a dog where that name made no sense.
Yes, love that.
Yeah. I will say, in high school, my best friend one day was like, we're going to pick up a puppy. And I was like, we're what now? He was going to surprise his mom with a puppy, and he wanted to name it Noah.
Okay.
But you've lived in Wisconsin for 6 years now. So can you imagine the problem with naming a dog Noah in a place where everybody has a diphthong in their accent? Noah. Like, you'd never know.
That's great.
Good boy, Noah. Wait, he'd constantly be hearing no. Yeah. Noah. Yeah.
That's kind of brilliant.
They changed the name.
Oh,
no, they changed the name because after like a week, they were like, "Oh, we keep telling the dog no, and he's not getting it." Like that word has a negative connotation. So, and because people in Wisconsin have a weird accent, that's what it sounded exactly the same.
That's hilarious.
No. All right, card 1, card 2, or card 3?
Let's go with card 1.
Oh, you're making a lot of money on this episode.
Okay.
How much would someone have to pay for your little toe?
My little toe? That's... Oh my God. Is this like a Big Lebowski situation?
I've never seen that movie.
Somebody loses a little toe.
Okay. Did they get paid for it?
Trying to remember if they did. Okay. I'm trying to remember what the ransom was. I think it was like a couple million.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'll keep it about the same.
It's less than the spider by a lot.
Yeah. Well, I could live without a toe. It'd be all right. You can get a prosthetic. It's a little toe. You'll be okay.
Right.
So
I just hit it on things all the time anyway. So.
Yeah. Exactly. What has it ever done for me?
Pain in the ass. So something with balance, I'm sure. But
probably there's somebody out there who'd be like, you don't understand.
Right. Really cool canes, though. You can get.
Yeah. Right.
Put stickers all over that sucker. Mm-hmm. All right. Card 1, card 2, or card 3?
Card 2.
What is your most unusual talent?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a talent, but I know a ridiculous amount of just weird facts from like Ocarina of Time, the Zelda series, because I played that so much. I don't think that's a talent, though. I think that's just being a nerd. I
mean, that takes some skill.
Sure. Weird.
That's, yeah.
We'll take it. We'll take that. Because, like, I can't
remember. The talent is storing the information.
Yeah.
And being
that's
so
my
singular
talent.
in what you remember.
Yeah, it's remembering things that don't matter. Like, I still cannot spell the word restaurant successfully on the first go, but I can tell you exactly where to find the entrance to the Forest Temple in Ocarina of Time. Like, I could do it with my eyes shut. So there you go. That's my talent.
Yeah. All right, card 1, card 2, or card 3?
Go back to card 1.
Okay. Ooh, what's your worst roommate or house guest story?
Oh, man. I did have a roommate at one point in my life that I came home and I walked in and her purse was still there. Her car was parked out in the driveway. Could not find her. Found her phone, found her keys. She was gone. She just vanished. And I was getting a little concerned after a bit because she's not the person who's like, I'm going to go for a walk or something like without her phone. Couldn't find her. And I was just getting to the point where I was like, do I need to call the police? And then her and her boyfriend came from the shed in the backyard. And I was like, what is wrong? We were in a house. Like, you could have just sent me a text and be like, hey, circle the block.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought you were abducted. Like, I was so mad that I left and drove around until I cooled down. But I was like, what's wrong with you? So yeah, I think that's probably the worst story, just because I was like, is this a taken situation? Like,
right.
What's the protocol? I was in like my 20s and with the, all is forgiven now, but I was like, what? Dude, come on. So,
I'm guessing this was not the type of person that you thought Jesus came back and they were taken.
Yeah,
it was a left behind situation.
We would both be left behind. If she got taken, I'd been like, y'all, she stole someone's ID. You know what I mean?
Like it. All right.
Yeah. 1,
2, or 3?
Let's go 3.
All right. Do you have any superstitions?
I don't think so. I mean, I do say the knock on wood a lot. So as soon as something is going really well, we're like, well, it's going to be a good day. I have to say or do the knock on wood. I was going to say,
just last week you were like, things are going too well. I'm waiting for something to go wrong.
Yeah, that's my superstition, is when I either lob up a good punchline for fate to come knock me down, or if things are going really well, I think I start getting like uneasy because I don't trust.
Waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. I think we have time for one more.
Okay.
Card 1, card 2, or card 3?
Let's do 3.
3.
Yeah.
What weird food combinations do you really enjoy?
Man, that's a good question. I mean, I don't think this is weird. I think this is pretty normal. I just recently did the candy and the hot buttered popcorn thing. Like, very recently. But that's normal. But I was like, this is amazing. And I'm sad I had waited so long to finally, love
was
that.
Was it like M&M's? Or was it like a gummy candy?
What was the candy?
That,
I think it was one of those, the crunchy bites, like the
Nerds things.
Yeah, kind of, but the chocolate ones that are like really crunchy.
Sure.
So we did that. I think it's supposed to be like Milk Duds or something that melts a little bit better, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, any combination of sweet and salty is going to be great. Plus,
amazing.
It gets, if you do it at the movie theater and it gets covered in that oily substance. That I am convinced at some point will become sentient and just come bursting out of all of us because it's just living in there now.
Yeah.
But it's so good. So
I think that's my most daring one, but I don't really think I have any like unique ones. I think I'm pretty normal. I don't have any cool quirks when it comes to food.
Yeah. Well, that's a good place to end because now I want a salty and sweet snack.
Yeah, I'm really hungry.
So I'm like, something's going to happen with that now.
I need to make a thing of popcorn and dump some candy in it.
Amen. All right. Well, thank you, Maz, for joining me on yet another podcast.
Yes.
And thank you, listeners, for joining us. If you're already signed up to attend Queers and Quills, make sure to say hello to me and Maz at the Oregon Convention Center in May. Undoubtedly, we will be standing next to each other at some point.
Yep.
If you are not going to Queers and Quills this year, make sure you follow Queers and Quills on Instagram so you can see all the fun we're having and get updates about ticket availability in the future. Until next time, I'm Kirt Graves, and I hope you're having a very gay day. Queers and Quills, the official podcast, is produced and hosted by Kirt Graves, in coordination with Mahogany Mail and Marley Valentine. All copyrighted material is shared with permission. Music and sound effects are licensed through Storyblocks Audio. All opinions shared are those of the individuals and do not reflect the positions or policies of any company or organization with which they happen to be associated.